Good morning from Southern California. This is Dr. Tom Peters, and I'm going to continue my presentation on adult partner relationships for 18 to 25-year-olds. And in this segment, I'm going to talk about marriage versus cohabitation. What is the difference? Well, before I get to the point, let me tell you that individual counseling and counseling in a group session by a psychologist or a therapist is just that, individual counseling. And psychology is focused mostly on clinical psychology, on individual development. However, if you look at the life of a child, somebody in a family, that's the system. So marriage, family, and child therapists are focused on the family system. Family system meaning that whatever one family member does that influences the life of the other family member, and everyone's activities and feelings are involved when something happens in a family. There are various feedback loops from one family member's activity to the other person's activities. So there's an optimum level of functioning for every family, and that can be interrupted when the teenager starts dating. So what's the difference from a systems perspective? What is the difference between cohabitation and marriage? When we think of marriage between two people, it is a dyad. Two people are involved in it. They make a commitment to one another. But it's about two people. Cohabitation is the same thing. Two people decide to live together. And if you talk to them, they will talk about their feelings to one another. And sometimes you might find no differences between cohabitation and marriage, because marriage could be just a piece of paper. However, from a systems perspective, it is different, because we all learn in every culture that, excuse me, this is Bella, and Bella wants to go out. Okay, Bella, go. So in every culture we learn that marriage is a commitment. Commitment is between two people, and they are legally tied to one another. And that is not valid for cohabitation unless there's some paperwork. In the United States and in California, it's called domestic partnership. That gives some legal aspect to it, but it's still not the same as marriage. And if you look at some of the stories you heard about marriages in your life, for instance, a mother-in-law problem. When does a mother-in-law become a problem? Well, they have to have communication with the sister, with the daughter-in-law, you know. So they have to have some communication. They have to have some relationship going on in order for a relationship to go bad. And that's usually not the case when the couple is just cohabitating. The mother of the woman or the man, or both women or both men, usually don't recognize the partner as a daughter-in-law or as a son-in-law. So take a look at families where the relationship is good. It happened before that the mother of the husband helped the daughter-in-law when she was recovering after surgery. So these issues are common in good families. So there is the entire family system. It changes when people get married, and the two families sort of become one, not necessarily, but in some cases become one, and they respond to each other's problems. So the grandchildren belong to both both families, the family of the father and the family of the mother, and they recognize the grandchild as their own. So there is this union together, and they are legally tied to one another. However, in cohabitation, this aspect is usually missing. So it does influence the life of young adults if you cohabitate or get married. However, I encountered a very different problem regarding cohabitation that affects young adults. Well, young guys usually want to show and prove the girl and the family of the girl that they are good enough for them. And this can take the following form. I'm going to quote a conversation that I had with someone not too long ago. So where do you live? I live with my girlfriend. And okay, how about rent? Well, I pay rent to her father, you know. So what happens when they need some help? Like the father says, okay, well, I want to paint the house. Who do you think will jump in to help? However, if it's cohabitation, there are no legal ties to one another. And to me, my impression was that in order to prove that he is worthy, he is being used big time. And there are other instances when the family of the girl expects the boy whom the girl is dating to take more responsibility on himself and to provide a lot of things to the girl that the family of the girl should be providing. In California, you need a car. And if you are a young adult and you want to go to work, you have to have a car. If you don't have a car and you have to go to work, somebody will have to give you transportation. Depending on the schedules, you can get off at a time when you would not be able to catch the bus. And if the parents of the girl provide transportation when they start dating, they would usually want the boy to provide the same transportation. However, that's an adult's responsibility. And when you talk to young adults in these type of relationships, which is cohabitation or assuming a lot of responsibility for the other person, when you talk to them, they sound more like a 40-year-old adult with many, many responsibilities. So that's for today, and you have a good rest of the week. It's Monday today in Southern California, and I will continue with other issues such as gay relationships and dating for young adults. Goodbye.